Howdy y'all, and welcome to this special November outlook. Hard to believe we're already into November already. Where does the time go? The holiday season is here, y'all. But as a disclaimer, please take this forecast with a grain of salt, as anything over a week out is virtually impossible to forecast, as we cannot predict the future. Now, what factors are influencing our weather? Well, we're going to be in an ENSO weak La Nina, negative PDO, a neutral to negative AO, easterly QBO, and the MJO is going to be very active with a lot of moisture potential. Now, the main ones you got to focus on, since I know this is most likely all confusing, basically got to focus on mainly the ENSO pattern, NAO pattern, and even the QBO pattern, which the QBO to a lesser extent, because that plays a role in our polar vortex, but it actually stabilizes the ENSO pattern for this month. Now, a weak La Nina basically means that we're going to be dealing with a cold and wet north and a dry and warm south. Basically, that's all you got to think about when it comes to a weak La Nina, pretty much. The NAO typically influences our cold weather and brings that cold air down, so we could be coming in on late season lake effect snowfall potentially. Now, the PDO plays a role in our Pacific Northwest weather, which could mean more severe weather here in the central part of the country potentially. And of course, the NJO brings a lot of moisture here to the southern half of the country, which could influence our severe weather season here for the month of November, as we are in our second severe weather season. So basically, my thoughts are we're going to be dealing with a wet northeast and midwest, a drier southeast and south central, and above normal temperatures could be possible out west. But of course, let's go ahead and get into the weather models. Then I'll show you what the experts think at the Climate Prediction Center. Now, we're going to take a look at multiple different long-range forecast models, including the GEFS, Euroweeklies, and the CSV2 model. These all take a look week by week as far as the temperatures and precipitation goes anyway. And we're also going to take a look at the Euro seasonal, CSV2 seasonal, and even the CANCIPS model to take a look at the month overall. And of course, we're going to take a look at the guidance at the Climate Prediction Center. Of course, we're going to start off taking a look at the GEFS to show y'all the temperatures. Basically, the blues are the below average and the reddish orange are the above average. Now, to start off November, it's looking like much of the eastern part of the country is going to be colder than normal, while the western part of the country is going to be warmer than normal unless you live up here in the far northwest part of the country. Expect this to change as we head into the middle of the month, as it's looking like much of the country is going to be heading into a warmer than normal pattern unless you live up here in the northwest and west coast. And this could influence our second severe weather season, by the way, and it's looking like it's going to remain this way throughout the middle and end of the month. So basically, the beginning of the month is going to be cool here out east and warm out west. And then as we head into the middle and end of the month, it's looking like much of the country is going to be heading into a warmer than normal temperature pattern, at least according to the GEFS. Now, what does the precipitation anomalies have to say? Well, it's showing us that the northeast down into the mid-south could be above normal, Great Lakes region being below normal, upper Midwest being above normal, as well as the Northwest. But overall, it's looking like much of the country is going to be heading into a below normal precipitation pattern, and a quiet pattern to start. Now, as we head into the middle of the month, it's looking like the Northwest is still going to remain above average, and it's looking like the Great Lakes region could be coming in on an above average precipitation pattern, which could mean late month lake effect snow or even some severe weather. And of course, the more whites, the more uncertainty there is. Could be either above or below normal, it just depends. But I'm thinking we are going to be coming in on some severe weather here in the middle and end of the month with some late month lake effect snow. At least that's what I'm thinking anyway. Now, what does the Euro weeklies have to say? Well, they are in agreement with what the GEFS is saying, which is the beginning of the month is going to be cooler than normal here in the central and eastern part of the country, as well as up here in the northwest, and a little bit more of the western part of the country is coming in on below normal temperatures. The southwest and north central part of the country is heading into an above average temperature pattern, and of course, it's going to be looking similar to what the GEFS was showing us, which is the middle of and end of the month is going to be heading into an above average temperature trend. The only difference is between this and the last model is that more of the western part of the country is heading into a below average temperature trend as we head into the middle and end of the month. Now, what does the precipitation anomalies tell us? Well, they're showing us that the northeast into the mid-south and the upper Midwest is going to be above normal as far as precipitation goes, which is in alignment with what the GEFS was showing us, as well as the northwest. But overall, it's looking like much of the country is going to be quiet to start off November. Expect this to change as we head into the middle of the month, as it's looking like more of the central part of the country is heading into an above average precipitation pattern, as well as up here in the the northwest down into Northern California. So we could be coming in on an uptick in some severe weather here in the central part of the country as we head into the middle parts of November, and even some lake effect snow potential as well. So those two models are in alignment with each other pretty much. Now, what does the CSV2 have to say? Well, as far as temperatures go, it has been pretty persistent throughout all of the models so far. It's looking like the eastern and central part of the country is going to be below normal, the northwest as well. It's looking like the western part of the country is going to be on average above normal as far as temperatures go. Now, what does the middle of the month have to say? Well, it's looking like, according to the CSV2, it's going to be above normal as far as temperatures go for much of the country, unless you live out west as we head into the middle and end of the month. So basically, the weekly models are showing us that the eastern and central part of the country is going to start off cool, as well as up here in the northwest, while the western part of the country on average is going to be above normal. Heading to the middle and end of the month, it's looking like much of the country is going to be heading into a warmer than normal temperature pattern, unless you live up here in the northeast and the western part of the country, which could influence our second severe weather season. Now, as far as precipitation goes, I like the CSV2 model when it comes to precipitation. You can see real clearly here where the below and above normal precipitation is going to be at. You can see that in alignment with what the rest of the weekly models were showing us, which is above normal precipitation here in the northeast and northwest, but it's showing us that below normal precipitation could be possible here in the north central and even here in the midwest and southeast, which is a little bit different than what the other two models were showing us. It's heading to the middle of the month. It's showing us the exact same thing the other two were showing us, which is above normal precipitation here in the central part of the country into the Great Lakes. And it's showing more of the western part of the country heading into an above average pattern, and it's showing, as we head into the end of the month, more of the country is going to be heading into a soggy pattern. And this is the only difference, by the way. And really, I'm in agreement with this as well. So this can and will change. Please take that with a grain of salt. Now, as we take a look at the Euro seasonal has a warm bias, so keep this in mind. But I am in agreement with this, as I'm thinking the middle and end of the month is going to be warmer than normal for much of us here in the lower 48, unless you live out west in the northeast. Now, as far as precipitation goes, now the GEFS and the Euro weeklies model are in agreement, but the CSV2 is the only one that differs. And we can see here on the Euro seasonal that the northwest, y'all are the only ones that are going to be in an above average precipitation pattern, while the rest of the country is going to be in a below average precipitation pattern. I think the northeast and upper midwest is going to be heading into an above average pattern, because I think the middle and end of the month is going to be very soggy. I think we're going to come in on an uptick in some severe weather and even lake effect snow here in the upper Midwest and Great Lakes region. Now, as far as the CSV2 goes, in alignment with that as well, much of the country is heading into an above average temperature pattern. And as far as the precipitation goes, there's a stark contrast between this and the Euro seasonal, showing much of the western part of the country in an above average trend, as well as down here in the south central part of the country and northeast. But it's looking like the southeast and the Midwest is going to be below average, and it's looking like they're including the Great Lakes region as well. Now, what about the CANCEPS model? Last but not least, they're showing us that the Southwest is going to be above average, while the rest of the country is going to be really to be determined. It could be either below or above average. Just depends on showing below average up here in the Great Lakes region. Now, what about precipitation? Well, they're in alignment with what the Euro seasonal was showing us, except that the Northwest is going to be below average. That's the only difference, as it's looking like much of the country is going to be below average except for the Southwest and even down here in the deep south. Now, this model differs slightly from the rest of the models, as both the Euro seasonal and the CSV2 were showing above normal precipitation in the northwest, while the rest of the country heading to below average. They're showing us that the northwest is below average and the southwest and deep south is going to be above average. I don't really agree with this one too much. I'm more in agreement with what the CSV2 is showing us, which is above normal precipitation out west, and then the northeast, south central, and Great Lakes region, with the whole entire country pretty much being above normal, at least here in the middle and end of the month. Now, of course, we got to take a look at what the experts are showing us. They're showing us that the Southwest is going to be above average, while the rest of the country is going to be dealing with equal chances, which means either above or below normal, and this also includes down here in the deep south as well, Alabama and Mississippi, and even parts of Florida and even Maine. So they're showing us that pretty much the same thing as what the Kansas was showing us as far as temperatures go anyway. As far as precipitation goes, they're showing us that the southeast is going to be below normal, as well as the southwest. I'm in agreement with this. And the northwest is going to be above average all the way down into the central plains. So what am I thinking? Well, I think at the beginning of the month it's going to be cool out east, warm out west, and then it's going to flip as we head into the middle of the month, as I'm thinking that pretty much the whole entire country is going to be heading into a warmer than normal temperature pattern, with it being a little bit cool out west. Now, as far as severe weather goes, I think we are going to be coming in on an uptick in some severe weather, as we are in our second severe weather season here in the Midwest and deep south, but I'm thinking that the southeast is going to be drier than normal. So this map right here is pretty much what I'm thinking of what we could expect for the month of November. Now, what's my bold prediction? Well, I think we're going to be dealing with our wettest Thanksgiving since 2020, with double the normal rainfall here in the Midwest. Stark contrast to what the models were showing us, but this is my bold prediction, so please take this with a grain of salt. And I think we're going to see our first snow flurries by November 20th, right around Thanksgiving time, as we could be dealing with some late season lake effect snow after we come in on an uptick in some severe weather. Now, why am I thinking this? Well, we're going to be coming in on a weak La Nina and a negative PDO, which amps up storm tracks in the north central part of the country, while neutral to negative AO and NAO could dip cold air just enough for flurries without a full freeze. And even the weather models were showing us that a blocking pattern is going to be building by mid-month, which basically means a ridge is going to be taking hold, which means above normal temperatures, which means warmer than normal temperatures could be in store, which means drier conditions as well for much of the country, which means that it could echo 2020's mild but damp conditions with a cold snap twist. That's why I didn't really show the 500 millibar hot anomaly map, because the temperature anomalies showed that really well. So now, referring back to a previous November, thinking that's going to be more like 2020. So you could have a mild south and a stormy heartland of the country. And we can see here on the right that historical analogs are like a weather deja vu. We look back at past Novembers with similar setups, like a weak La Nina and a negative PDO, for example, to guess the conditions. 2020 was a match because of a toasty south and west, which could happen this month, with a parched southeast and a stormy midwest and northeast, with a quick cold snap. If this year follows suit, expect mostly mild days with pop-up showers, familiar territory that keeps things exciting without full chaos. So that could happen this year. Could have a dry and warm southwest, wet, sort of cool northwest, cool northeast, and a stormy midwest, dry southeast, and some late month flurries and lake effect snow could be possible here at the end of November here in the Great Lakes region. So now that I covered all of that, what we could expect for the month of November, here is some folklore you most likely didn't know. Did you know that if there's ice in November, that will bear a duck? There will be nothing after but sludge and muck. This proverb is an old weather lore tied to St. Martin's Day, which is on November 11th, means that if early ice is just strong enough for a light duck but not a goose, a mild, wet, muddy winter will follow. No hard freeze, just slush. Rooted in farming communities that help predict planting and livestock conditions, though not scientifically reliable. Obviously, it's been passed down for centuries and occasionally matches real winters like in 1710 and 1919 for examples. And one last thing before I let y'all go, did you know that we had the largest fall tornado outbreak in U.S. history on November 21st and 23rd of 1992? We had 105 tornadoes strike the deep south with over 26 fatalities, and this is why we call it the secondary severe weather season. We could come out on this year, so keep this in mind, and please be hyper weather aware this month. So I hope y'all got a lot out of this. If you did, please make sure you hit that like and share button so more folks are informed about the weather. And also leave me some feedback in the comment section down below, as any feedback helps provide you, the viewer, better and more informative content in the future. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below, as at Hero Wins Weather we try to make weather forecasting fun and informative. So basically, to sum this video up, I'm thinking it's going to be a warm month overall for much of this in the lower 48, although the beginning of the month could be a little bit cool out east, warm out west, and that's going to flip as we head into the middle of the month. I think overall we're going to be warmer than normal, which could fuel severe weather, as we are in our second severe weather season. And my bold prediction is I think we're going to be seeing some flurries at the end of the month here in the Great Lakes after we come in on a severe weather outbreak. That's just a bold prediction, so keep that in mind. Please take that with a grain of salt. salt. So again, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate all of y'all for watching. Have a great November. And until next time, never stop forecasting.